When I first met Emily, I thought she was the one. We seemed perfect together. She was kind, funny, and beautiful. We spent a lot of time talking and getting to know each other. Everything felt right. I believed we would be happy forever. After a year of dating, we got married. Our wedding was a small, beautiful event with close friends and family. Everyone said we looked happy and in love. I felt lucky. I thought I had found my soulmate. For the first few years, life was good. We had a cozy home, and I worked hard to provide for us. Emily worked too, but we made sure to spend time together every evening. We shared dinners, watched movies, and talked about our dreams. I trusted her completely. But as time went on, I started to notice small changes. Emily became distant. She didn't laugh as much, and sometimes she seemed tired or distracted. When I asked her what was wrong, she would say, "Nothing, I'm just busy." I wanted to believe her. Sometimes her phone would ring late at night. She would quickly turn it off or take the call in another room. I told myself not to worry. Maybe it was work or a friend. I didn't want to be jealous or suspicious without a reason. One day, I found a receipt for a coffee shop I didn't know. It was from a few weeks before. When I asked Emily about it, she said she had met an old friend. I didn't think much of it, but a small voice inside me wondered if everything was okay. I started paying more attention to her behavior. She was texting more often, sometimes hiding her phone when I entered the room. She changed her passwords and became secretive about her social media accounts. It didn't feel right. I didn't want to believe she could do something wrong. I told myself maybe she was just stressed or going through a hard time, but the doubts kept growing. One evening, Emily stayed late at work and didn't answer my calls. I felt worried. When she finally came home, she was quiet and avoided my eyes. I wanted to talk to her, but she just went to bed early. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind was full of questions and fears. Was she hiding something? Was our perfect life only a mask? I decided I needed to find out the truth, no matter how painful it might be. Trust is the foundation of any relationship, and I didn't want to live with doubt anymore. This was the beginning of a journey I never expected, a journey that would change my life forever. After that restless night, I couldn't stop thinking about Emily and the strange changes in her behavior. I wanted to believe she was still the woman I loved, but something inside me was telling me otherwise. I started noticing more small things that didn't make sense. Emily's phone became her secret. She always kept it close and was quick to hide it whenever I came near. Sometimes, she would laugh softly while texting, but when I asked who she was talking to, she would quickly change the subject or say it was nothing important. She also started going out more often, sometimes without telling me where she was going. When I asked, she would say she was meeting friends or working late, but I could see the hesitation in her voice. It was like she was hiding something. One day, I found a lipstick stain on her shirt. It was a small thing, but it felt like a red flag to me. When I asked her about it, she said it was just a mistake. Maybe it happened when she was out with friends. I wanted to believe her, but the doubt was growing stronger. I tried to ignore the feeling, telling myself maybe I was just being paranoid. Maybe I was overthinking things. But deep down, the feeling wouldn't go away. I started paying attention to her habits. She would leave the room when her phone rang or quickly hide messages from me. She was always careful about deleting texts or calls. It felt like she was keeping secrets. I also noticed she was more interested in how she looked. She spent more time dressing up, wearing perfume, and even changing her hairstyle without telling me. I asked her if she wanted to try something new, and she smiled but didn't say much. It felt different from before. One evening, I decided to follow her quietly. I didn't want to seem like I didn't trust her, but I needed to know the truth. She said she was at a work dinner, but when I followed her car, she stopped at a small cafe I had never heard about before. She met a man there. They talked closely, laughing and touching each other. My heart sank. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The woman I loved was being someone else's. I didn't confront her right away. I wasn't ready. Instead, I went home with a heavy heart and a mind full of questions. Was this really happening? How long had it been going on? The next few days were the hardest. I wanted to ask her, but I was scared of her answer. I didn't want to lose her, But I couldn't live with the doubt either. I started looking for more clues. I checked her phone when she was asleep and found messages that didn't make sense. Sweet words, plans to meet, and secret nicknames. It was clear she was hiding something serious. I felt betrayed and lost. The perfect life I thought we had was breaking apart before my eyes. Still, I wasn't ready to give up. I needed to be sure, to have proof. That way, I could face the truth and decide what to do next. The pain of suspicion was eating me up inside, but I knew I had to be strong. The next step was to catch her in the act, to see the full truth with my own eyes. This was the moment when my world began to change forever. The days after I followed Emily to that cafe were filled with confusion and pain. I kept thinking about what I had seen, but I didn't want to believe it was true. Still, the doubt was too strong, and I knew I had to find out the whole truth. I decided to be very careful. I didn't want to make any mistakes or scare her away before I had proof. I started watching her more closely, not in a way that would seem obvious, but enough to know where she was going and who she was meeting. Emily's phone was the key. She never let out of her sight, but I noticed she left it unattended once when she went to the kitchen. I quickly grabbed it and unlocked it. Thankfully, she didn't change her password. I began looking through her messages. What I found broke my heart. There were dozens of texts from a man named Jason. Their messages were full of love and secret plans. They talked about meeting late at night, about things she never told me. At first, I wanted to stop. I told myself to forget it and move on, but I couldn't. I needed to know everything. I started planning a way to catch her red-handed, to see with my own eyes what was really going on. I didn't want to hear excuses or lies. I wanted proof. One evening, I noticed she was going out again. She said it was a work event, but this time I followed her carefully. She drove to a small, quiet park on the edge of town. It was dark, and very few people were around. As I hid behind a tree, my heart was pounding. I saw her get out of the car, looking around nervously. After a few minutes, a man appeared from the shadows. It was Jason, the same man from the messages. They hugged and kissed. I felt a sharp pain in my chest. All the doubts, the fears, the sleepless nights, they were real. They sat on a bench, talking quietly but holding hands. Emily laughed and touched his face. It was a moment of love and betrayal. I couldn't stay there any longer. I pulled out my phone and started recording a video. I wanted to capture everything, the proof I needed. After a while, Emily and Jason got up and walked away together. I stayed hidden until they left. That night, I watched the video over and over. It was painful but important. I had caught her cheating. There was no doubt anymore. The next morning, I faced her with the truth. I showed her the video. She looked shocked and angry. At first, she denied everything. Then she started crying and begged me to forgive her. But I couldn't. Not yet. The trust was broken, and I had to think about what to do next. The discovery changed everything. My perfect life was shattered in an instant, but I also felt a strange sense of power. I finally had the proof I needed. From that moment, I knew I had to take control of the situation. I had to decide how to respond, whether to forgive, to fight, or to walk away. This was a turning point. The moment when my life took a new direction, one I never wanted, but one I couldn't avoid. After I caught Emily cheating, I was filled with many emotions: anger, sadness, confusion. I didn't know what to do at first. Should I forgive her? Should I leave? Or should I get revenge? At first, I just wanted to hurt. I wanted her to feel the pain she had caused me. But then I realized that revenge wasn't just about causing pain. It was about standing up for myself and showing her that betrayal has consequences. I decided to make a plan. It had to be smart and strong, not something done in anger that I might regret later. I wanted her to lose the power she had taken from me, but I also wanted to keep my dignity. The first step was to gather more proof. The video I had was enough to confront her, but I wanted to be sure I had everything. So I went to her phone and social media accounts when she wasn't around. I found messages, pictures, and conversations that showed her secret life clearly. I also talked to some of her close friends, pretending I didn't know about the affair. I asked questions casually to find out if they had noticed anything. Some of them were surprised. Some said they had a feeling, but no one had proof. Next, I thought about how to reveal the truth. I wanted her to face not just me, but everyone who mattered to us. Our families, our friends, even her work colleagues. I wanted her reputation to be affected because trust was not only broken between us, but also with everyone else around her. I created a private online album with all the evidence. Photos, screenshots of messages, and the video I had recorded. I wasn't going to share it publicly yet, but I kept it ready. While planning all this, I kept my cool. I didn't want Emily to suspect anything. I acted normal around her, even though inside I was boiling with anger. I knew if I lost control, she would win. I also started to think about the legal side of things. We were married, and there were shared assets and responsibilities. I talked to a lawyer to understand my options. I wanted to protect myself financially and make sure she wouldn't take advantage of me during the divorce. But the emotional revenge was just as important. I wanted to make her feel the loss, not just of me, but of her respect, her friends, and her life as she knew it. So I planned a confrontation, but not just a private fight between us. I wanted it to be public and undeniable. I wanted everyone to see the truth and know what she had done. I also thought about how to use social media wisely. Sometimes people hide behind the screens, but I knew that sharing the truth carefully could protect others from being hurt by her lies. But I was careful not to go too far. I didn't want to destroy her life completely, only to teach her a lesson and protect myself. The revenge was not about hate. It was about justice and closure. In the days leading to the confrontation, I stayed calm and collected. I worked on my plan step by step. I talked to my close friends and family for support, without revealing too much. I knew this was a difficult road, but I was ready to face Emily, ready to expose her, and ready to take back control of my life. The revenge plan was in motion, and soon Emily would realize that cheating comes with a price. The day I decided to expose Emily was one of the hardest days of my life. I was nervous but determined. After all the pain, betrayal, and planning, it was time to show the truth to everyone, including Emily herself. I chose a moment when many of our close friends and family would be together. There was a small gathering at my parents' house, a birthday party for my younger sister. I knew Emily would be there, and many people we both knew would come. It was a perfect place to reveal everything, where the truth could not be ignored or hidden. Before the party started, I made sure everything was ready. I had my phone charged and the video saved in a folder on my laptop. I also had screenshots and messages organized neatly. I wanted to be calm and clear, not angry or chaotic. When Emily arrived, she looked beautiful as always, but I could see a flicker of nervousness in her eyes when she noticed my expression. She probably knew something was coming. The party went on as usual, people chatting, eating, laughing, but I could feel the tension growing inside me. Finally, after the cake was cut and the presents were opened, I asked everyone to gather around. I told them I had something important to share. I took a deep breath and started. I explained that I had recently found out about a betrayal, that Emily had been unfaithful to me. Some people gasped, others looked shocked. Emily's face turned pale, and she tried to interrupt me, but I asked everyone to listen. I played the video first. The room fell silent as everyone watched Emily with another man, laughing and holding hands. I could see the pain in Emily's eyes, but I didn't stop. Then I showed the messages, the photos, and everything else I had collected. Some of our friends were shocked. A few whispered to each other. Emily's family looked stunned and didn't know what to say. I could see Emily shrinking under the weight of the truth. I told everyone that I was hurt deeply, but I was sharing this because trust is the foundation of any relationship. When trust is broken, it affects not just two people, but everyone around them. After I finished, I looked at Emily. She was crying now, saying sorry and begging for forgiveness. But I knew some things cannot be fixed with words alone. Some friends came to support me. Others were unsure what to think. Emily's closest friends were quiet. I realized that trust is fragile, and once broken, it takes a long time to rebuild. After the party ended, Emily and I talked briefly. She apologized again, and I told her I needed time to think about our future. That night, I felt a strange mix of emotions: relief that the truth was out, sadness for what we had lost, and a new strength to move forward. The exposure was painful, but necessary. It made everything clear and opened the door to a new beginning, whether together or apart. In the end, I realized that standing up for yourself and facing the truth, no matter how hard, is the first step to healing. After the truth came out and everyone knew about Emily's betrayal, life changed completely. The pain was still there, but so was a sense of relief. I finally had the answers I needed, and I wasn't living in doubt anymore. Emily and I started talking seriously about what would happen next. It was clear that things could not go back to how they were. The trust was broken, and healing would take time, if it could happen at all. We agreed to separate for a while. The house felt empty and quiet without her. It was hard at first, but I knew it was the right choice. I needed space to think, to heal, and to find myself again. Friends and family were supportive. Many of them reached out to me, offering help and comfort. Their support reminded me that I wasn't alone. During this time, I focused on myself. I spent more time on my hobbies and work. I exercised and started eating healthier. Slowly, I began to feel stronger. I also went to counseling. Talking to someone helped me understand my feelings better and gave me tools to cope with the pain. It wasn't easy, but it was important for my recovery. Looking back, I realized that the perfect life I thought I had was built on trust. Once that trust was broken, everything changed. But I also learned that pain can teach us important lessons about ourselves, about love, and about what we deserve. I don't know what the future holds for me and Emily. Maybe one day we'll talk again, maybe not. But for now, I am moving forward. I am letting go of the past and focusing on the future. Life after betrayal is not easy, but it can be a new beginning. It's a chance to grow, to find true happiness, and to never settle for less than we deserve. The journey is still ongoing, but I am ready for whatever comes next.